Here's more wrestling news for October 19th, 2021. And your headlines for this afternoon include Goldberg to end an incredible run of the Almighty on Raw. Current WWE wrestler says working with Goldberg made him think about dying in the ring. Why Hardcore Holly threatened to beat up promoter. Kevin Owens seemingly set for character change on WWE Raw return. Current WWE wrestler loans Rhea Ripley his pants to wrestle in after she lost her gear bag. WWE stars Tease heel turn at Texas house show. Bray Wyatt's post-WWE name revealed. Braun Strowman has discussed ideas outside of pro wrestling. Special guest announced as host for WWE NXT Halloween Havoc, and more. We are kicking off with this Thursday's Crown Jewel, which will see Bobby Lashley face Goldberg in a no-holds-barred match. Meeting in a virtual face-to-face on this week's Raw, their interviews weren't intense, other than both men promising to end the other. For Lashley, Crown Jewel is about putting down the former Universal Champion for good, while Goldberg is hungry for retribution after the Almighty attacked his son Gage at SummerSlam. With the no-holds-barred stipulation, it seems certain that Goldberg will win this week, as any shortcomings he may have given his advanced age can be hidden behind an array of weapons he can legally use. The only physical involvement in the feud has been Goldberg throwing Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin, as the two former world champions haven't come to blows since SummerSlam. If Goldberg does win in Saudi Arabia, it'll mark the end of a great run for Lashley, who has been on the losing end ever since Big E won the WWE title from him. With another loss seemingly guaranteed, Crown Jewel could mark the end of his dominant 2021 run, but at least Lashley got a dominant run, and a great one at that. One man who knows all about being crushed by Goldberg is Dolph Ziggler, who was flattened by the Hall of Famer at SummerSlam 2019. Their match, if one can call the one-sided affair a match, only lasted 110 seconds, but that was more than long enough for the show-off. Speaking with Xenia Did That, Ziggler made it clear that he didn't like sharing the ring with Goldberg, saying, "A lot of times you don't think about dying in the ring, but maybe if you're in there with Goldberg, you think about it a lot more." Both during his first run in wrestling and during his return since 2016, Goldberg has been branded as unsafe by many workers, and it's clear that Dolph Ziggler is on that long list of wrestlers who won't be getting back in the ring with the Hall of Famer. Now, Bob Hardcore Holly had a lengthy career in WWE, working for 15 years before his departure in 2009. Between 2003 and 2004, Holly worked in WWE's OVW developmental ground, where he earned a reputation, with some calling him a firm but fair trainer, and others calling him a bully. One man who doesn't have many positives to say about Holly is manager Kenny Bolin, who spoke to Wrestling's SP3 this week about a time when Holly threatened to attack him for Bolin making money. He explained, "Bob Holly was the worst. Bob Holly thought that I made $700 profit off a personal appearance I went to. I said, how the f did I make $700? Your personal appearance drew 34 people. Holly didn't believe that Bolin was entitled to the $700, but Bolin, who has managed the likes of John Cena, The Miz, and Mark Henry, stuck to his guns. How do you think I made $700? And if I did, how do you think you're entitled to it? Nobody f***ing came to see you. So he was going to beat me up at television and thought I was going to give him $700. Bolin realized that Holly could easily beat him up, but also knew that if the former hardcore champion attacked him, it'd almost certainly result in Holly being fired from WWE. Holly had just a handful of matches in OVW, losing to Matt Cappotelli and John Cena, but we imagine that not getting the $700 Bolin had earned was the biggest loss for Holly during his tenure in WWE's developmental ground. Back to the present, as Kevin Owens will return to Raw full-time when the draft results come into effect, and he could be undergoing a change in character. In recent videos, WWE have been building Owens up by sharing some of his more vicious antics, reminding fans of the time he was the prize fighter who only cared about gold. If these videos are anything to go by, Owens could be on course to a heel turn upon returning to Raw, and after months of languishing on SmackDown, a change of character is exactly what's needed for the former Universal Champion. Yesterday, we reported on Rhea Ripley, whose travel bag went missing in Albuquerque. Not only did Ripley lose her ring gear, but she also lost her WWE Women's Tag Team Championship mere hours before she was meant to compete at a live event. Thankfully, Ripley made it to the show and faced Raw Women's Champion Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks, and Bianca Belair for the title, and got there thanks to a big assist from Damian Priest. On Twitter, Ripley thanked the United States champion who loaned her his tights for the match, which matched Ripley's aesthetic perfectly. Ripley, who didn't come out with her tag title, didn't become a two-time Raw Women's Champion at the live event, and while we're still hoping she's reunited with her travel suitcase, we're pleased that she was able to compete thanks to the help of her friend. We've got some tragic news now as Impact Wrestling stars Ace Austin and Gia Miller have lost their home in an apartment fire. The fire, that burned on Monday morning, destroyed their residence in Dayton, Ohio, but both took to Twitter to let fans know that they're alright, as is their pet cat. Miller said she woke around 9:30 a.m. to the smell of smoke, realizing their second-story apartment was on fire. A GoFundMe has been set up to help the pair, who ran through the flames and were met by neighbors before the fire crew arrived. The GoFundMe page has already raised over $14,000, surpassing its $5,000 goal, with names like DDP, Cody Rhodes, Nick Jackson, Matt Cardona, D'Lo Brown, and Knockouts champion Deonna Purrazzo donating. Miller said that she and Austin were just seconds away from being trapped in the burning building and are lucky to have escaped despite all their belongings being lost, and we're sending our best wishes to Austin and Miller at this worrying time. In the recent WWE draft, Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart were just one of many teams split up, with Shotzi staying on SmackDown and Nox heading to Raw. The team won't officially split until after draft picks come into effect later this week, but the pair are ending their alliance in an interesting way. At a recent live event, Shotzi and Nox faced Tamina and Natalya, but competed as heels. Video of their heel antics at Sunday's El Paso live event has been shared online, and it marks the first time either woman has worked heel in WWE. Traditionally, WWE has used live events to test new characters and gimmicks to see how the crowd would react before they spend valuable TV time on the new idea. Nox in particular was seen to be enjoying her temporary role as a heel, and we'll have to see if this becomes a permanent change for her or Shotzi on the weekly programming. This year, WWE decided to release Bray Wyatt with a multitude of reasons behind his release. Not only was Wyatt's contract very expensive, but the former Universal Champion had reportedly become difficult, and a weight problem had caused further tensions between the two parties. Wyatt will have to wait until his non-compete clause expires on October 29th to wrestle again, but we now know his new name. On Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer confirmed that Wyatt's new name is Wyndham, which is also his real first name. Named after the legendary Barry Windham, Wyatt won't be the first wrestler with the Wyndham name, but he'll surely be a huge name in whichever promotion he works for next. It's rumored that Wyndham will soon be joining Impact, where Braun Strowman is also expected to debut later this month at Bound for Glory. A former Universal Champion, Triple Crown Champion, and Greatest Royal Rumble winner, Strowman made his name inside WWE's ring, but that doesn't mean he'll be sticking to the squared circle. Speaking to Sports Illustrated's All Lions section, Strowman teased that his next company may see him work as a part-timer and explained why, saying, "I don't have as much time to devote to the full-time schedule to wrestle now. It's trying to find somewhere where I'll be able to land in there to show up, have fun, and entertain the people, but still be able to work on my side projects along the way." Strowman recently appeared as an analyst for the Mr. Olympia competition and even got into a physical altercation at the event. And although the Monster Among Men is expected to be a top name in Impact should he sign later this month, Impact may have to work around his busy schedule. Next month, WWE Raw will air from the UBS Arena in Long Island, New York, mere days before AEW hosts Dynamite from the very same venue. WWE are doing a lot to try and get fans to see the show, including promoting an appearance by Universal Champion Roman Reigns, but the show is still falling far behind the competition. A report from WrestleTix notes that WWE has sold 3,130 tickets thus far. Meanwhile, Dynamite has sold 7,639, nearly 80% of the allotted tickets. Now WWE have got a new tactic to coax fans, as ticket prices have been slashed, as previously upper deck seats were going for $30 or more, and they're now going for $15 instead. WWE may be earning less per ticket, but hopes that the cheap price will encourage fans to attend their show, and we'll have to wait until next month to see if this ambitious gambit pays off. And we're ending today with NXT 2.0 as the Paint Splatter brand is bringing back Halloween Havoc for their October 26th event, and they'll have a very special guest who knows all about horror. During last night's Raw, a promo aired announcing that Chucky, the killer doll of Child's Play fame, will be the guest host at Halloween Havoc, which is all a part of promoting the new Child's Play series on Sci-Fi. On Twitter, the official Chucky account promised to bring the Havoc on October 26th, and we'll have to see what the iconic killer does when he comes to NXT 2.0 Halloween Havoc later this month. This Thursday, WWE will air Crown Jewel from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, marking the company's first event in the Middle Eastern nation in over a year. Hopefully, the superstars can avoid another hostage situation like what happened after Crown Jewel 2019, but even the trip to Riyadh has proven to be difficult. When Ringside News asked a member of WWE's creative team, they said that the flight to Saudi Arabia has been a hot topic backstage, as the superstars must depart in London, England, have a 2-hour layover, and go through customs before getting back on the same plane. In addition to this, and the recent ratings war with AEW, talent have also been discussing the match order, as well as what to expect on the flight back. If the past trips to Saudi Arabia are anything to go by, the superstars should expect the unexpected win in Riyadh, but not everyone is making the trip. Sami Zayn is infamously not allowed to go as he is of Syrian descent, and Saudi Arabia has a strained relationship with Syria, and in 2019, Kevin Owens told Vince McMahon that he'd no longer be traveling out of respect for his real-life best friend. Pat McAfee noted on his SiriusXM radio show that he wasn't invited to commentate at Crown Jewel, but added that it's awesome, as superstars who have gone said the Saudi events are insane. Ironically, Pat's first night at the SmackDown commentary table was thanks to Saudi Arabia, as when superstars were detained for close to 24 hours in 2019, McAfee and the NXT roster filled in on the Blue brand. It's been reported that out of those who are going, many are skeptical about returning to the country, not just because of the past controversy surrounding WWE's shows there, but also the risk of traveling when positive cases are still on the rise. WWE signed a decade-long deal with Saudi Arabia that's been extended since WWE has been unable to travel over the past year, and we'll just have to see how Crown Jewel 2021 pans out both during and after the show. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.